Yeah, good morning, good afternoon to everybody joining that webinar. So it's a very, very big pleasure that we come together just in video format by having that opportunity. And I think having that big crisis in the background, we should take not only the challenges but also all the advantages that we can just meet here and exchange. On our knowledge and on our experiences. And that's why I'm very, very happy that we have so many people coming together, and I hope for some fruitful discussions as our long-standing cooperation between University of Jember and University of Applied Sciences here in Flensburg can be kind of a crystallization point for much more than just a cooperation between those universities, as we have a responsibility for the scientists of the future. And I'm very happy that we can share that between teachers, students, politicians, in order to grow together in that exciting field of molecular techniques. So I'm looking very much forward to those 2 days of exchange and discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ancelabes. The next remarks is coming from the Rector of University of Jember, who will also open this webinar. To Dr. Insinyur Iwan Taruna M.Eng, time is yours.
Okay, all right, thank you. Good afternoon, good morning, maybe for whom in Germany. I think it's still early morning there. Whom I respect the speakers of this webinar, Professor Ancelabes, Prof. David, Heiger Raymond, Marlis Witte, Leif Tripper, maybe it's not here yet. Dr. Kartika Sinjayani as a moderator in this webinar, and also distinguished participant of the present webinar. Of course, we should thanks to God that still bless us with help today to carry a joint webinar between Flensburg, University of Applied Science and University of okay, now I remember that Dr. Kartika promised to bring me go to that place later. Thank you. It is my great pleasure, of course, and honor to welcome you at the opening of the present webinar, which is a joint activity between FUAS and UNEJ with the topic of application of molecular biology and bioanalysis methods in research and its didactic approach for online teaching. Ladies and gentlemen, at the moment in Indonesia, we are still in the COVID-19 pandemic era. As we realize that the number of confirmed cases is increased daily. Although the government started to promote the new normal life in order to ignite the economic condition, I think it is still unfeasible in some area, like in East Java province, our area, like right now. Therefore, for the upcoming semester, our institution still will carry out the teaching process via online. Last semester, we mostly face so many problems to do this way of teaching. So that's for this reason today, it means we need to improve our capability, knowledge, skill to conduct online teaching that may include in research activity also. Today's topic webinar is very interesting. Also, it is a very good time for everybody who joined this webinar. It means that we may improve our performance by absorbing any knowledge that will be transferred by any speakers. I think they're very competent speaker from Germany, from Indonesia, especially for the topic of application of molecular biology and bioanalysis methods. I think I don't need too much talking about it. Let's just enjoying this webinar and taking advantages to it. Bila topik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Rector, for the speech. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is the main agenda which we are waiting for, the webinar. But before that, maybe we would like to have a photo session, but due to the limitation for the feature, because this webinar, we set it into the webinar mode, so the participants are not allowed to speak and show their video. The committee would like to deliver apology because we cannot turn on your video for the participants because we have to do it one by one, and we think that it is not impossible for now, but this is the photo session for the panelists with Pak Rector. Okay, pause please. So, Pak Rector, your video is off. Okay, thank you. Pak Subanul, could you please turn on your video, please? Okay, the photo session will be started in 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. For the participant, we are really sorry that we can accommodate your suggestion. Thank you. Dear ladies and gentlemen, now the next agenda is the main agenda which we are waiting for, the webinar. This webinar will be moderated by Dr. Renat Kartika Senjarini. Dr. Renat Kartika Senjarini is a lecturer at the Department of Biology, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, University of Jember. She is the alumni of Rostock, Germany, for her PhD degree with the DAD scholarship. Currently, she is now also the coordinator for the DAD bilateral project for the University of Jember. Pak Iwan, if you have another agenda, you may leave the forum. Otherwise, you may stay here as well. Thank you. To Dr. Renat Kartika Senjarini, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Bu Enda. Once again, I thank you for all the speakers who are attending the opening session, and you could remain in this session if you wanted, but if you have another schedule, you are very welcome to also, you may also leave the session. So once again, thank you so much. And now, it's really my pleasure that I can meet you all in this webinar. And as we already aware that the COVID-19 pandemic has been really making a dramatic transformation in our life. Yeah. Not only in our way of life outside that we call it as a new normal, but it is also reflected in our way of education, our teaching system, how we have to adapt with the new new session related with the laboratory supervision and then student supervision and so on. And this is really something. Yeah. Early on this semester, we really kind of a little bit chaotic, if I may say, because now everything online, everybody has to stay home. So it's maybe a little bit problems for us, but I think now we are getting adapt with this situation. And then I really hope, and as Anja already mentioned, that the situation gives also kind of another alternative on how to deliver our teaching method and how to improve our teaching method. And this is also kind of a demand for us. It is now because it is also related with the industrial revolution, industry 4.0. As for our today's seminar, this webinar, we will focus on the topic of molecular biology and bioanalysis, not only its theoretical approach in research, but also related to how we perform and how we deal with this situation, especially related with the teaching. And we are going to do it during these 2 days. And for the first day, for today, we have two speakers. Professor Angela Bus from Flensburg University of Applied Science, Germany, and then Prof. Davik from the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education from the University of Jember. The first session, I would like to invite Professor Angela Bus. Yeah. Professor Angela Bus is, since 2016, is a professor for microbiology and molecular biology at the Flensburg University of Applied Sciences, Germany. She is currently also as a dean for the Faculty of Biotechnology, if I'm not mistaken. So, Fachbereich 2. Yeah, maybe you could explain it later. And then, her academic background. She has a diploma in biology. A diploma biology is equal to the master degree in Indonesia, and then promotion with the doctorate. And if I'm not mistaken, Prof. Angela Bus is also very concerned and very really have so much thinking in how we can deliver teaching, the best teaching method, so that students can really understand, not only coming to the lecture and then hearing and then go home and so on. So we will really try to discuss about that, and I really learned a lot about the these didactic methods, and I really hope that we could share about this knowledge later on. So for the first session, the time is yours, Prof. Angela Bus. Please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Katika, and welcome again. So I start sharing my slides and then I dive in. And for today, I have a mixture, but oops, maybe you do see my first slide now. Yeah. So for today, I have a mixture of having the task to introduce you to the field of molecular methods. I would also like to share the ideas, the general ideas that we have, how to teach that in order to, open the stage for the later discussions, and also so the experiences that we all faced during the last half year, being just challenged by, okay, we do online teaching today. Well, I would also like to discuss with you how we can come to very nice interferences in that field. And of course, I'm happy to answer any questions and dive into discussion after my talk. So just to start, to give you an orientation, as we have heard that we have so many participants from all over the world, maybe that is the first thing that we should stress in the very beginning, that the whole world, being in a pandemic, is facing that situation. And as I said in the beginning, that of course it's a challenge to all of us, but it's also a chance to have such an international teaching. Just find a time slot and then you do go. Most of you are attending in Indonesia, and of course you do know where it is. And I try to get my pen here, so having Indonesia in here. So my colleagues and me, we are sitting in Germany, in the very north of that, and as we have heard, so we have a number of participants from other countries in here, but we are all together in thinking about how to deliver our knowledge, but also form competencies. So maybe some words to my background so that you can give another orientation. So, but still geography. So this is Germany and Flensburg University of Applied Science in the very north. So that's a very waterful region that we do have, and that is actually one part of my my background, as you can see in my next slide. So you are going to see me in my natural habitat, actually in Indonesia, when I was there. So my background is marine, natural products, and microbiology of that. By training, I studied in a number of universities and did work with extremophilic microorganisms and their applications. For today, my background is mainly on how to deliver this knowledge to students, as I'm a professor in the University of Applied Sciences in Germany. So about that, you can frame what I'm talking about is based on knowledge how to employ the diversity of nature. So years and years of development, of evolution that we have in here, and how can we employ that in a sustainable way. So we talk about natural products for pharmaceutical applications, but we also talk on molecular methods. And during the next 2 days, we are going to see how this variety of different methods to be applied in laboratories and industry can be taught to our students. You do see in my path of my life, I did see a number of different stations, but I always faced on how to do the didactics of that, as I'm convinced that we are good teachers if we live our own science, but also think about how learning processes do work. So we do see a big number of scientists that are super good scientists, but they never think about how people learn. So just delivering knowledge has limitations, of course. So, well, anyway, so this is a background, and you do see this is not the very end of everything. As when I came to University of Applied Sciences here in Flensburg, I learned our cooperation with University of Jember in Indonesia, and I had contact to Bu Katika and her colleagues. And that was actually the beginning of a very fruitful cooperation that was always dedicated with respect to how can we improve teaching on both sides. And this is, thanks God, funded by the German Academic Exchange Service. And everything is kind of framed in the study programs. I will give some illustrations on that later, that we have at the University of Applied Science in the field of bio and food technology. And I think that is a good link between the universities, as we have that on both sides, but that is, of course, not limited to those fields, as the ideas how young people learn and how they develop their own personality, that is also true for all kinds of study programs that we have. And I think it's a good crystallization point to have that as best practices. And this is how I understand the 2 days of webinar as well, to think about what might be good practices that we can use for a number of different study fields that we have in the field. So the German Academic Exchange Service is a funding program of the German government, which has 3 strategic areas. And one is, of course, to fund the best people in order to develop their personality. So that's about mobility between countries. And I think Bukatika and many others, probably people being here in the webinar as well, are good examples how that really increases capacity in many countries, so that we really have professionals and leaders that have the qualifications to really strive how we develop future. The second thing is to create structures for internationalization. And this is actually what our funding program that we are in with University of Jember and University of Applied Sciences Flensburg do work. So that is money for students to be exchanged. And I think this is a very fruitful collaboration, especially for the people that have that exchange. So to really dive into another culture, as of course we come from different cultures, but I'm also convinced that in the end we have to meet as humans, and only as humans we can tackle the big challenges that we face as humans. So that's not only COVID-19, but it's also climate change that